animal cruelty is happening throughout the entire animal agriculture industry. So if you are not vegan, you should be made aware of this fact that those animal products that you are consuming are causing animals to suffer and to die horrible deaths. Even if you're a vegetarian, the dairy industry is just as brutal, if not more brutal, than the meat industry. In the dairy industry, those dairy cows, they don't automatically produce milk like some people believe. Oh, they're dairy cows. That's, what they do. They produce milk. No, like any other mammal, they have to be pregnant in order to start lactating. So dairy farmers forcibly impregnate those dairy cows to get them to start lactating. When they give birth, their babies are taken from them, and typically they're kept in tiny pens like this. This is a screenshot of an undercover investigation of a small family-operated dairy in Florida. This investigation was done by Animal Recovery Mission. And yeah, if you go to their webpage, Animal Recovery Mission, yeah, you can pull out the actual footage and see for yourself the horrific abuse taking place. Yeah, and it's standard practice throughout the animal agriculture industry that these animals are being abused and, they die miserable deaths. They all end up in a slaughterhouse unless, they die beforehand. Some animals die on transport to the slaughterhouses. Some animals are dying in those factory farms. And even the calves on these dairy farms, some of them are dying. And that's before they reach the slaughterhouse. Like if they're males, all the male calves born on dairy farms are slaughtered. Typically, they're slaughtered for veal, and that happens at about 3 or 4 months of age. And even if they are sold to the beef industry to be raised for beef, beef cattle are slaughtered between 12 and 22 months of age. They can live over 20 years, but they are slaughtered as babies as well. Pigs are just 6 months old when they are slaughtered. They can live over 10 years. Chickens are just 6 weeks old when they are slaughtered. They can live over 7 years. And on those factory farms, when those animals get sick, they're not treated by a vet. In the pork industry, it's standard practice that they slam those piglets off the concrete floors when they are sick or when they're not growing quick enough to be profitable for meat. It's called thumping, and there's plenty of undercover footage proving that this is happening throughout the pork industry. When these little piglets are sick or are not growing quick enough to be profitable, they are slammed off the concrete floor and thrown in the trash. There was a TikToker recently who posted a video. He and his friends were driving past a pig farm, and they can see from the road the dumpster on site. And next to the dumpster, they could see a pile of something. And, they kind of knew what the pile was. So they stopped the car, got out to investigate. And once they got over to that pile that was next to that dumpster on that pig farm, what it was a pile of dead piglets. And within that pile of dead piglets was a live piglet. And they took the piglet to a vet, but unfortunately, the piglet did not make it. But it's standard practice that they will slam those sick piglets off the concrete floor to kill them and throw them in the trash. And oftentimes they're still alive. And on the chicken farms, they're twisting the necks of those chickens that are sick. Basically once a day they go through the sheds where these thousands of chickens are housed, and they pick out the sick ones and just wring their necks and throw them in the trash. It's not worth it to call in a vet. How much does a whole chicken cost? yeah, a hell of a lot less than it costs to hire a vet. But sometimes they'll just let the chickens just lay there and die a slow death. But yeah, it's standard practice that they'll just wring their necks and throw them in the garbage. So yeah, if you're consuming animal products, you absolutely are supporting animal abuse. And the image behind me, this is a screenshot of an undercover investigation of a dairy farm here in Florida. A small family-operated dairy farm. And this is standard, that they keep the calves, after they steal them off those dairy cows, that they keep them in these tiny little pens outside, to face any kind of weather conditions that may arise. Like here, there was a storm that had just come through, typical here in Florida, especially during the summer months. Yeah, so all of these dairy farms here in Florida, yeah, this is what's happening in the summertime to these calves that are stolen from their mothers. They're kept in these pens. And when it rains, yeah, here you go. The ground is saturated. And this is neglect, to say the least. To say the very least, this is neglect. And up north, in the wintertime, they're out there in the freezing snow and the blizzard conditions. They don't take those animals into shelter. And if this is a female, once she matures, they are going to sexually violate her, forcing semen into her, to force her to get pregnant so that she'll start lactating. And when she gives birth, those dairy farmers are going to steal her babies from her. And if those babies are boys, they're going to be slaughtered. And if they're females, they're going to be, used as milking machines like their mothers, to be repeatedly sexually violated, having their babies stolen from them, and having those babies killed if they're boys. And those dairy cows are sent to slaughter when they can no longer produce enough milk to be profitable. That typically happens at about 5 years of age, when they could live over 20 years. Yeah, your dead animals taste yummy because of all of the herbs and spices you season it with. Herbs and spices, in case you don't know, are vegan. Salt, pepper, garlic, all of those things you use to season your dead animal body parts with are vegan. KFC? Yeah, their secret recipe. How it consists of 11 herbs and spices? Yeah, again, herbs and spices are vegan. So that delicious flavor that you love is actually coming from the seasonings, the herbs and the spices. Oh, look, somebody out there. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, you're blocked. Well, I'm glad I'm making a difference. I'm obviously making a difference, That's why people get so outraged when they see that I'm still on this app. Like, why hasn't she been banned yet? We need to get her banned because we don't want consumers to know the truth. Well, yeah, I'm here to give the truth to people. And the truth is, if you are consuming animal products, you are absolutely funding animal abuse. I did not go vegan because I didn't like eating bacon. I did not go vegan because I didn't like eating porterhouse steaks and cheese and ice cream and scrambled eggs in the morning. I went vegan because I saw how those products were produced, and yeah, it was clear those animals were being abused, horrifically abused to produce those animal products. Even in the egg industry, in case you don't know, at the hatcheries where all those egg-laying hens come from, even the organic free-range egg-laying hens, they cannot determine the sex of those chicks until after they hatch. So upon hatching, they sort the males and they put them through a macerator, which grinds them up alive because they do not lay eggs and they are not the same breed used for meat. They do not grow quick enough or big enough to be profitable for meat. And then those egg-laying hens themselves, they are sent to slaughter when they can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable. That typically happens at about 1.5 years of age, when they could live over 7 years. In nature, a hen would only lay maybe 12 to 24 eggs per year, but they're manipulated to literally produce like 200 to 300 eggs per year. That puts an enormous amount of stress on their bodies. So by the time they're just a year and a half of age, they become spent, meaning they can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable. And then they are sent to slaughter and turned into dog food. So yeah, even the egg industry is based on horrific animal cruelty. If you would not support an industry that grinds up puppies alive, if you would not support an industry that grinds up kittens alive, why are you supporting the egg industry that grinds up newly hatched male chicks alive? Because they don't lay eggs and they're not the same breed used for meat. Well, that's creepy. I mean, I understand there are people out there who are into abusing animals. I mean, yeah, there are people, there's this crazy thing called crush porn. Yeah, I saw it on the news. Pretty extremely disturbing. People literally crushing puppies and kittens during sex acts because that gets these, I mean, this is beyond evil. I mean, beyond evil. I understand that there are people, that are like into abusing animals. Just a few weeks ago, I signed a petition against a teenager who took his family dog and took a sword to that family dog and killed the family dog and was bragging about how he killed the family dog. Yeah, I understand there are people out there who are cuckoo, and they get off harming animals. I'm here not to reach people like that. They can burn in hell for all I care. Well, they should burn in hell. But I'm trying to reach the people who are against animal cruelty. Yeah, I'm trying to reach those people. So if you're against animal cruelty, you need to go vegan, because if you're not vegan, you are in fact funding some of the most atrocious acts of animal cruelty taking place. So you need to know that so you can make better choices in the future. Because again, I did not go vegan because I didn't like eating bacon. I didn't go vegan because I didn't like eating porterhouse steaks. I went vegan because I saw how those products were being produced. And it was clear to me that that was not just animal abuse. It was extreme animal abuse, and it's completely unnecessary. In case you don't know, a plant-based diet is in fact the best diet for human health. From the American Institute for Cancer Research, from the National Kidney Foundation, from the American Heart Association. A plant-based diet can reduce your risk of all of those diseases. And if you have any of those diseases, a plant-based diet can help treat those diseases. From the National Kidney Foundation, a plant-based diet not only helps reduce your risk of getting kidney disease, if you have kidney disease, a plant-based diet can help slow the progression. From the American Institute for Cancer Research, a plant-based diet not only reduces your risk of many forms of cancer. If you have cancer, a plant-based diet can help treat it, can help fight it. From the American Heart Association, a plant-based diet can significantly reduce your risk of heart disease, cerebrovascular disease, the disease that causes people to have strokes, type 2 diabetes. If you have any of those health conditions, a plant-based diet can help treat them. A plant-based diet is the only diet known to reverse heart disease. Just watch The Last Heart Attack with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. A plant-based diet is amazing. It can do wonders for your health, and it's the most ethical diet. It's the only ethical diet. If it's not a plant-based diet, it is not an ethical diet. And that's just a fact. Because how could it be ethical to kill someone just for your appetite? And that's the only reason why people are consuming animal products. You're not consuming it. I mean, you might be thinking you're consuming those animal products because it's necessary, but it's not. The evidence clearly proves that it is absolutely not necessary to consume animal products, and you can actually be much healthier on a plant-based diet. And guess what? Yeah, you still get to eat delicious foods, so you're not going to sacrifice anything by going vegan. Yeah, a plant-based diet can help erectile dysfunction. Yeah, see, erectile dysfunction, about 50% of men experience erectile dysfunction, erectile dysfunction is a significant indicator of heart disease. And yes, a plant-based diet can help not only prevent heart disease, it is the only diet known to reverse heart disease. Yeah, so you reverse heart disease, yeah, you can help with that issue. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I didn't stop eating steaks because I didn't love eating steaks. I stopped eating steaks because I hate animal abusers. That's why I stopped eating steaks. That's why I went vegan, because I hate animal abusers. I hate to see animals being abused, and I do not want to ever have an animal abused on my behalf. And this is what they're doing to the dairy in the dairy industry, to the calves born to those dairy cows. As soon as those dairy cows give birth, because they have to be pregnant, you know, for anybody out there who actually thinks that, you know, oh, they're dairy cows, they that's what they do. They just produce milk. It's like a magical thing. They just produce milk. No, they don't. Like any other mammal, they have to be pregnant before they start lactating. They have semen forced into their vaginas. In other words, they are sexually violated. Yeah, if you were to force semen into a woman without her consent, what would you call that? If you were to steal her baby from her, what would you call that? If you were to kill her baby because, you know, he's a boy and you have no use for him, what would you call that? If you were to then hook her up and suck her baby's food out of her body while her baby is being hacked to pieces inside of a slaughterhouse, what would you call that? Yeah, if the same exact things were being done to humans that are being done to these animals on these factory farms, on these dairy farms, inside of these slaughterhouses, they would in fact be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, and mass murder. But people think, oh, they're just animals. So yeah, it's perfectly fine to commit those same acts against these animals because no, it's not rape. It's not kidnapping. It's not murder. It's not theft. It's food. It's dinner. It's beef. It's pork. No, it's an atrocity that needs to be brought to an end. People need to wake up, start using your head, start making the right decisions. There's nothing right about consuming animal products. It's bad for your health. The more meat, dairy, and egg products you consume, the more risk you have of so many very common and very deadly diseases, including cancer and heart disease, two of the leading causes of death. Animal agriculture is by far the most environmentally destructive industry that has ever existed. It is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, and climate change. There are 1 billion people starving in third world countries right now, as billions of animals are well fed today. They are not well cared for by any means, but they are well fed. If you think that the grains needed to feed all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals to keep up with the demand for their flesh are strictly coming from first world countries, you've got it wrong. Some of those grains needed to fatten up all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals are coming from third world countries. Third world countries, they sell their grains to the animal agriculture industry so they can fatten up their animals, so they can fatten up their bank accounts selling you the body parts of those animals. And yeah, if you think there's no human trafficking happening within the animal agriculture industry, yeah, you got that wrong too. Who in their right mind would want to work in a slaughterhouse massacring animals all day long? I mean, yeah, again, I understand there are people who are pro-animal abuse. They're into it so much so that they're even incorporating it into their sexual lives. Yeah, pretty like beyond evil. But yeah, there are lots of people working in slaughterhouses that are traumatized. They don't want to be there. They're being forced to work in slaughterhouses, or they're you know, just because they can make more money than they could working at Walmart. You know, they'll do that work not because they want to by any means, but because it's almost like they're forced to you know, be able to pay their bills. But, you know, if people start demanding plant-based products, what will happen, they'll start shutting down those facilities, converting them into facilities where they produce plant-based products. So instead of these workers having to slaughter animals all day, yeah, they can, put plant-based products and, work in a facility making plant-based products. I don't understand, why people are so against veganism when it actually benefits everybody and the planet. It certainly obviously benefits the animals, and it can benefit your own health. It's the best thing you can do to help save the planet. And that's coming from Oxford. Researchers at Oxford did an extensive study of over 40,000 farms and concluded that animal agriculture is so environmentally destructive, going vegan is the best way to save the planet. And that if the world went vegan, land totaling the size of Africa could be freed up. And in case you don't know, there is a war on wildlife. Wild animals are being eradicated because wild animals, they compete with livestock for grazing land, like the wild American horses. Yeah, which are being rounded up by the thousands each year, taken off of public lands so cattle can graze the lands instead. These horses end up in government holding facilities, and they often are auctioned off. Who buys them? In a lot of cases, kill buyers buy them. Ship them into Canada, ship them into Mexico, where they are slaughtered for horse meat. They're killing off the wolves, they're killing off the bears, the cougars, the bobcats, the coyotes, the wolves, because those animals are a threat to livestock. Even in Australia, they are killing off the kangaroos because the kangaroos compete with livestock for grazing land. So don't call yourself an animal lover if you're not vegan. You might be a dog lover. You might be a cat lover. You're not an animal lover. You're literally having some of the worst acts of animal cruelty carried out against these innocent creatures. And not just the ones that you're eating, also the wild animals who are being massacred to benefit the animal agriculture industry so they can maximize their profits by not having that competition or that threat from those wild animals. Yeah, don't call yourself a nature lover if you're not vegan, because you're literally supporting the animal agriculture industry, which is like the number one enemy to nature. Yeah, we are some scientists say we are in the middle of the sixth mass extinction. Other scientists say we are on the brink of the sixth mass extinction. In whichever case, yeah, this is the only mass extinction event caused by earthlings, by humans. Yeah, I got to get back to work. I should have left 10 minutes ago. But yeah, it's hard for me to stop talking about these animals and this atrocity that's taking place, because this atrocity is literally destroying the planet. If Putin doesn't, do it, your actions of consuming animal products will eventually destroy the planet. And that's a definite thing if people don't change their ways. Animal agriculture is by far the most environmentally destructive industry that has ever existed. It is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, and climate change. Just look into it and you'll see I am not exaggerating. I am not exaggerating one bit. Yeah, and every single day in the United States, 30 million animals are forced into slaughterhouses. 30 million animals were just forced into slaughterhouses in the last 24 hours across the United States. In the next 24 hours, another 30 million innocent animals are going to be forced into slaughterhouses, including the male calves taken from those dairy cows so people can consume dairy products. This atrocity you can help put an end to. You can't do much except maybe donate money to what's happening in the Ukraine. But this atrocity against these animals that's literally destroying the planet, you have control over. You can stop this. You just by moving your hand the next time you go grocery shopping, just move it the other way a few feet and pick up the plant-based products instead of those products that are derived from such cruelty and environmental destruction. It's so simple, and it's the best thing you can do for your health. It's the best thing you can do for the health of the planet. Right on this app in the search box, all you have to do is put in vegan recipes. You'll find endless vegan recipes. Right on this app, hundreds of TikTokers who post vegan recipes. If you don't like to cook, go to happycow.net. Put in your city. You can find vegan and vegan-friendly restaurants in any city. Going vegan is the easiest thing you can do. Just start taking steps in that direction, just by, swapping out things, trying, something vegan on the restaurants that you go to, or find a restaurant that's vegan. Start trying some of the menu items. And you'll see there's lots of vegan foods that are so delicious, fulfilling, and like I said, it's the best thing you could do for the animals, your health, and even the health of the planet. So there's no reason to fight against going vegan. You can hate me all you want. You can hate that vegan teacher all you want. You can think we are as annoying as fuck. It's not about us. Veganism is not about us. It's about the animals. It's about justice. It's about doing what's right. It's about saving the planet. It's about ending an atrocity. And it's time to do it now and stop turning a blind eye. Because you can turn a blind eye, but it's still happening. These animals are still suffering.